Hey guys, JamesMCD Reviews here, and welcome to another TV log. And today is a bit of a bittersweet one because we are talking about Owl House Season 3, Episode 3, Watching and Dreaming, the series finale of Owl House. And it's just really sad, man. It's really sad. I've fallen in love with this show ever since I started watching it, and to see it come to an end so so soon is just, it sucks. I'll give them this. In these last 3 episodes, they pulled no punches. They put out all the stops to make sure that these were the best final 3 episodes in any cartoon ever, and this one is no exception. The story behind this one is Luce and her friends have made it to the archives, but they get separated. Luce and Ida and King finally reunite, and they're kind of trying to reason with the Collector and be like, hey, I know you're trying to make friends and have fun and play games, but your games are pretty intense, and that's why you're scaring so many people. Meanwhile, Luce's friends are trying to, they are in the actual archives, and they're trying to save everybody, but their magic is starting to dwindle for some reason. And then meanwhile, Bellows, in a last-ditch attempt to take over the Boiling Isles and destroy everything, tries to make his way to the heart of the Titan and basically turn into Kaiju Bellows and just start destroying shit. And so Luce has to take him down once and for all. They made absolute sure with this finale, and really with the last 2 episodes as well, to raise the stakes and raise the scale of it, and I think they did a really good job. This is one of the most intense finales in the series. Bellows is at his most powerful. He's that's what his character has been throughout this entire show, has been desperate for power. And once he finally gets his hands on the Titan's heart, it starts to get really fucking intense and scary. There's a moment where Luce actually almost dies, and she's not gonna be dead forever, but it's really kind of sad. The character, she just it turns into Infinity War for a few seconds, where she just turns into a bunch of specks of light, and she flies past all the other characters, and and they understand the implication and just look completely horrified. But yeah, I absolutely loved Bellows in this episode, and not only seeing him at full power was great, but seeing him get absolutely owned and get the shit kicked out of him by King, Ida, and Rain was, as Rain themselves said, it was extremely satisfying to watch. I also really like the Collector in this episode. We got a little bit more of their backstory in the last episode for the future, and that continues on in here. We see him just kind of distraught over King's betrayal and everything like that, and he, continuing on with that thing of him just being a a needy little kid. He just wants someone to play with, and we even get a little bit more backstory when we learn that his the rest of his sort of family members, the archivists, basically just kind of left him on Earth to play with the Titans, and his sort of powers ended up being too much for them, and that's how he got himself trapped. So they basically just abandoned him and sent him there to get captured, which is pretty shitty. I also really like how Luce kind of helps them see the bigger picture and helps them see the error of their ways and everything, and even then that's it leads to probably one of the funniest moments in the show, where when Bellows is transforming and the Collector goes up, because earlier on Luce is you just need to show people compassion and forgiveness, and then when Bellows is transforming, the Collector flies up, just hugs them on the nose, and is I forgive you, it's okay, you just need a friend. And they all look at him what the fuck is happening? That was amazing, and I feel that was I feel like that was a low-key, like, Steven Universe jab, because, like, every single episode of that show, like, they're trying to defeat the villains with, like, songs and, like, love and everything like that, and I don't know, I just found that really funny. I loved seeing Luce, Ida, and King reunited for the last time. That dynamic has been, like, the heart and soul of this show, and, seeing them all three together and watching them, like, catch up was great. Seeing them revisit all the different, like, areas where, like, all the different locations of importance, like, where Luce, like, came to find herself, was really cool. It was a nice little throwback, like a trip down memory lane, but it also served a purpose as to, like, you know, showing the collector, like, how they, like, came to be friends and everything. And you freaking jagoffs, don't be doing that shit when, like, they're at the Grudgeby field and King's like, did you know Lilith used to be the Grudgeby team captain? And Luce is like, oh no, that's a spinoff I'd watch. Don't be doing that, you motherfuckers. But yeah, there is a moment where Luce kind of goes to the underworld, or the space between, which we've seen her in a few times throughout the series, but here we see her meet up with King's dad. This is the first time that King's dad makes an appearance, and the, like, moral, like, ethical dilemma, like, that Luce kind of finds herself in, of, like, you know, are we just as bad because we're trying to, like, help our families and blah blah blah, and ultimately the King's dad is like, no, Bellos is just a selfish prick, like, that's completely different. But then as Bellos is starting to rise to power, King's dad gives his last bit of energy to Luce to help her power up and save the day. Her design, her, like, Titan design, looked fucking awesome, and, like, I want someone, like, whoever makes, like, action figures and stuff like that, I want an action figure of Titan Luce to put up on display, because that design looked fucking amazing. The animation throughout that entire fight scene, I mean, they've really upped the animation and the fluidity of it in multiple parts throughout these last 3 episodes, but that final battle was absolutely incredible. Like, just the color, like, the speed, the fluidity, like, everything about it just looks so fucking cool. But yes, Luce ultimately defeats Bellos, pulls him out of the heart of the Titan, restores the Boiling Isles. Bellos gets curb stomped by the 3 of them, and all the people get released from the archives. The Collector redeems himself by, like, helping keep the archive, like, the castle, like, steady while everything is going down. And it was just such a great and satisfying conclusion. And then it ends with a nice little epilogue over the credits, where we see, like, sort of the aftermath of, you know, the Isles being rebuilt and everyone reuniting with their loved ones, and it's very sweet. It's the happy ending that you would hope to have from a show like this, and you can tell that if they had more time, they would have, you know, dedicated a lot more time to some of the things that are shown in this, like, epilogue, especially, like, the time skip stuff. Like, I'm sure that if Dana had gotten her way, that entire time skip would be like a half season in and of itself, because there was a lot of really cool stuff that they showed there, of, you know, Luce going off to college, and, you know, Ida becoming headmistress of Hexside, and Alador and Darius, like, working to remove coven sigils and allow wild magic once again, and fucking Harpy Lilith and all these other things, and Hunter and Willow's relationship, and Gus teaching, and all that other stuff. Like, I'm sure that all these things would have been episodes in and of their own right, but, like, the same thing with seeing all the human world stuff in that montage in thanks to them. I imagine it's just they didn't have enough time, but seeing like the little spurts of it here was just really nice to see. I just thought that whole ending was just really sweet and wholesome, and yeah, you could argue it might have gone on, like, a tiny bit too long and been a little bit self-indulgent. But I mean, the ending of Gravity Falls was a little bit self-indulgent, and I will say at least this episode, like this one, had the forethought of having that stuff over the credits, so it didn't like drag out the episode longer than it needed to be. And you know, I feel like this is the ending that a lot of like people in their headcanon would have come up with anyway, so you kind of figure they were like, let's just give it to them, like let's give them their sappy, you know, happy ending. And I really appreciated that. I honestly don't have too many other complaints in this episode. I definitely think that the rest of the friends, like Amity, Willow, Camilla, all that stuff, I definitely think they took a back seat. But I feel like they kind of had to, because like, for one, they got a lot of like coverage in the last 2 episodes. They got a lot of development, and also this is Luce's time to shine. This was the last episode, so you kind of forgive it a little bit. But yeah, apart from that, I honestly, this last season as a whole has been just phenomenal. Like, the fact that they were able to squeeze so much into 3-hour-long episodes and not have it feel rushed or muddled or have any, like, they didn't leave any stone unturned. Like, all the major, like, plot threads, like, for the most part, like, got wrapped up. Like, all the characters got their time to shine. You know, the ending was satisfying. And yeah, I just, like, you definitely have to give them credit for the restraints that they were working against, and everything in the universe, like, including Disney, like, trying to, like, kneecap the show and, like, you know, put it under for whatever bullshit, stupid reason. Like, they made the most of it, and they offered probably one of the best final seasons in a television show in a while, at least. Obviously, it sucks, like, how, you know, what happened to it and that it got cut short, and I would have loved a full 3rd season. But considering everything that happened, I think what we got was more than enough, and I have a great deal of respect for Dana Terrace, the crew, everyone who worked on this show. And yeah, I'm sad to see it go, but I definitely am glad to have discovered it. I'm glad to have watched it while it was airing. Like, even though I started halfway through, you know, I'm glad to have been a part of that community and that fandom and that hype train for even the smallest amount of time that I was. This is definitely on par with something like Gravity Falls as one of the best, like, Disney cartoons and the best story-driven cartoons that I've seen in a while. Like, I think, you know, it's, yeah, yes, like, everyone agrees that the first season is a bit of a mess, but I think that once it finds its footing in season 2, and now in season 3, like, how it wraps everything up, I think that it's a masterstroke of, you know, character and story writing. The animation is spectacular. The voice actors across the board absolutely kill it. This episode is no exception. Everyone involved does a great job. It's funny when it needs to be. It's heartfelt when it needs to be. It's action-packed. It's suspenseful. It's everything that you want in a great cartoon. And it honestly, like, it kind of makes me sad that this is kind of, like, in a way, the end of an era for Disney cartoons, because with them having said that they're kind of moving away from more, like, serialized cartoons, like, it's unlikely that we're gonna see anything else like this for a while, which kind of sucks, but I'm just glad that, you know, if this was gonna be the last one, that they went out on top and they just delivered such a great story. I thought this whole 3rd season was really well done, and yeah, thank you to Dana Terrace and the crew for putting forward such an amazing show, for all of these steps forward it's taken towards, like, inclusion, and for just delivering, you know, a fun, action-packed show for anyone to watch and feel represented and seen. And yeah, so going to my ranking for not only this episode, but the entire third season of The Owl House, I would have to give it a 5 out of 5. But anyway, that does it for this video. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of the series finale of The Owl House. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you think of this third season entirely? Did you think it wrapped everything up all good? And if we ever see a continuation of The Owl House in the future, like whether it be in a, you know, a sequel series or a comic series or whatever, what would you like to see explored in that? Let me know. And you know, with this series ending, I feel like it's been long overdue that I should probably take the time to honor another one of my favorite cartoons in recent years, but we'll get to that in due time. Until next time, be sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date on when I'm posting. Follow me on all my social media, subscribe to my main channel. Everything you need to know will be in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and bye!